Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's week 2 of the Sony Alpha Female 52-week challenge hosted by Brooke Shaden. For week 2 and the theme red, I was stumped a little bit just because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Red is not really my favorite color, so I connect red with like heartbreak, blood, or love. So there wasn't really anything in my mind that I was thinking of that I could do that would be representative of the theme red. And then I was like, it needs to also stay in the fine art realm, which is what I'm trying to also do, is stick with fine art. And I was looking through paintings, and then I saw the girl with the pearl earring. I'll add the photo here if you don't know what the girl with the pearl earring is, but it is a very beautiful painting, and it's very solace, or what is the word? It's very sad to look at, but it's also like hauntingly beautiful at the same time. And I was like, that's it. I'm gonna get my friend who wears a hijab to be the girl with the pearl earring, except that we were gonna make it red and more representative of my style. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to be my model for this round, so again, I am doing a self-portrait. I guess for the month of April, it's only going to be me doing the weekly themes as the model, which is quite terrifying, but like, hey, if it has to be this way, then I'm totally okay with it. Of course, having a model will make it so much more easier, but guess, that's the thrill of it all. But yeah, so I wrote down that like I wanted to kind of recreate or be heavily inspired by the girl with the pearl earring. I'm also doing this in my apartment again. It wasn't going to be in my apartment if I was doing it with the model, but unfortunately, it's me. So, and when I mean unfortunately, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm not really good at modeling, but I mean like it just makes my job harder. So originally I wrote in here that I was going to use the red hat, this big red hat that I have, but I didn't really feel inspired by it, and honestly, I was like desperate, I guess, and that's why I was like, you know what, I guess I could just use the red hat and have like a model wear it or something, because it's big and red and, simple and easy. The theme is red. But of course, me being who I am, I wanted to dig deeper, so I wanted to do a heavily inspired photo of the girl with the pearl earring and recreate it in my own way. So because I am going to be doing the modeling, I'm doing it in my apartment, and I had to sit for a bit to wonder, like, what does this painting represent? Is it just red, right? And I think some themes are gonna just be literal for what they are, but I am trying to dig deeper in these challenges and see what I can come up with and what like emotions and feelings I get when I'm doing these. And the first thought I had was colonization. Now hear me out before everybody decides to like run away or leave angry comments. Colonization is occurring everywhere, has occurred everywhere, and I know that colonization is a product of war, and war is just unfortunately a part of being human, which is probably one of the worst parts of being human. So I understand all around the world colonization is occurring, but for me, I thought a lot about my island, Puerto Rico, and the indigenous people that were living on there. I thought about all of the history that we lost and the culture that we lost because of colonization on my island. And I am a product of that said colonization. And I think the red represents the blood of my ancestor. And also, rather than wearing pearl earrings, I am wearing these earrings that are a symbol of the sun in hieroglyphics of the indigenous people of my island. Now, there's many scholars that are questioning the real name of the indigenous tribes, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to be calling them the Taínos, which is honestly the name that most people know them by. Now, I'm hoping I do it justice just because this is such a heavy and important topic for me, especially now that I'm getting older and I don't really know. I only know my grandmother. I don't even know the name of my great grandmother. And un- and people don't realize how when you separate families, when you destroy communities, they lose the essence of who they are. They lose that connection to their people, their land, their culture, their community. And growing up, I remember a lot of my friends would be able to make family trees. And unfortunately, I wasn't really able to make a family tree because I had a mother only, a single parent. I only knew up to my grandmother, which was on my mother's side, and that was about it. So I truly don't have that much family history. And I think it has affected me. And I know people might not think that to be possible, but it really has affected me in the way that I'm like, who am I? Or who were my people? And I've tried to do like, the Ancestry stuff, the 23andMe DNA stuff, etc., etc. But even then, the information is still very scarce. I am going to be doing this portrait representation of what colonization took. I know this is a heavy topic for people, but I do believe art is political, and I do believe this is also representative of me as a person inside and of my ancestors before me and all of the women that I don't know their names. Of course, I'm going to be doing something quite controversial on the second week of this 52 week challenge. But that's just how it is. I'm proud that I'm going to be doing this. I will be, of course, showing you the process, the setup, taking the photos, and then I'll be able to show the final image here. So let's get started. I am excited. I'm really hoping this doesn't fall out because I did this very lazily, so it's quite loose, and I've never been able really to wear anything on my head because I have such fine hair. So nothing ever really sticks on my head, but I'm hoping it stays and lasts for the shoot at least. Hopefully these can last. Obviously I got this off of Amazon. Yeah, I needed something simple to have at my apartment when I'm doing these portraits. As you can see, it's kind of flimsy, so I don't think I would recommend this, but it's gonna do what it's gotta do. She's gonna break it. Roll ahead. What happens when you have dogs so much fur? Shout out to my husband for helping me because I am feeling a little tired. But this is my backdrop. It's literally my blanket. And honestly, it really doesn't matter because I'm gonna have my aperture pretty wide open, so you won't be able to see it anyway, or at least I'm hoping. But I have a window right here, and if you look at the painting of Girl with the Pearl Earring, they didn't have lights back then. I mean, they had candles, but you know what I mean, lights. So he's using a large source of lighting, which would be a window. And that's what I'm gonna be recreating. All I need is a chair, and then I'm going to be using the Sony Creator app like I did for the other self-portrait I did to see myself as I'm taking the photos. I'm gonna go do my makeup and I will be back in a second. Before I start, I do want to give a disclaimer just because I don't want to come across like I know everything. I don't know everything. Unfortunately, a lot of the history and the culture has been erased by colonization, right? Blood quantum, paper erasure. I also want to give a huge disclaimer that this is inspired by, this is my my mind, my teachings, my visual representation of my ancestors, my mixed ancestry. It's to celebrate, to mourn, to highlight them, to never forget where I came from. I was born on the island of Borinquen with an Afro-Indigenous mother. I am connecting my camera to my phone right now using the Sony Creators app, and this is really helpful if you're doing self-portraits alone. Like I said in the previous video, this really helps me visualize what I'm doing, and this is how it looks. So it literally looks like my camera screen, and I can just click the button here. Right now I have a timer for 5 seconds, so it's perfect so that I can get into position. All right, let's get to it. I'm gonna put my microphone right here. Okay. Oh my goodness, my tag is showing. My bun doesn't look that bad from the side. Well, from the back, I should say. Okay, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, you can see my hair a little bit right there. I'm gonna have to fix that. Self-portraits are so hard. They really make me want to like pull my hair out sometimes. They are so raw and real. I mean, like, look at that neck hump. Okay, now I gotta just make sure it's in focus because the photos that I took in the first round were kind of out of focus, and I don't want that to happen again. Oh, this is a workout, and I don't really like how I look. Oh man, was that hard to do by myself? Yes. I had some photos that were still not in focus. My aperture was like 5.6 or 4.0, and I still wasn't in focus. I put a plant on my chair and focused the camera, but still, for some reason, I don't know why. But I did at the end get some of them in focus, which I'm really happy about. I don't know if it's like the Sony's Creator app that when I tap it to like focus on me, it wasn't doing it. I had to manually go to my camera and place my plants where I was going to be sitting and have that as and have that to focus on. So yeah, thankfully I figured it out before I ended it, because you can't really see if it's in focus or not that much on the phone. And also I wasn't paying attention, so I'm glad I looked back, or we would be having some pretty blurry photos right now. I'm going to be editing them right now, but I will put the final image or images up here somewhere. Hope you enjoyed the photos. To me, this was actually really meaningful and kind of cathartic to do something that was representative of my indigeneity and my community that has been forgotten. The Taínos still exist, we're still here, and we are a community that had to have evolved in order to survive because of colonization and wars. And even now, my island is dealing with a lot of things of privatization, big pharma coming. Even back then in the 50s, women were tested on for birth control pills, and some of them were sterilized. So it's just a reminder of the strength and resilience that my community, the people of my ancestry, had faced and are still facing to this day. And even though I am not living on my island, it still runs within my blood, and I still want people to know that we exist and that we're always fighting for everyone. Next week's theme is light, so I'm going to be probably doing that at the studio, cross his fingers, and I already have a really cool idea of how I'm gonna do it. So make sure to keep following me on this journey. I am doing good so far. I'm not as exhausted as I thought I would be, doing photos and videos and then having to edit both of them at the same time in the matter of a week. But I'm doing okay as of right now, especially because of the planning it out, and all of that has been really helpful. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!